about the upgrades on this week's live stream. Deck out your spaceship with a trip to the upgrade store in Mr. T's newest tutorial. Add some variety to Scratch's boring font selection with this custom text website. And upgrade your pen tool with a hidden feature that lets you draw transparent lines. All this and more coming up. Hey, good morning. It's Mr. Tomek back with the Chromeworks live stream. Good to see everybody out there. Just making sure everything's all cool here. Yes, so we are back for one more week of fun and excitement, and then I'm going on vacation again. Sorry, I might have mentioned before, Mr. T is getting married, so I have a couple of social engagements and some other stuff coming up this week, and I will be too busy for next weekend's live stream. So after this week, our next live stream will be August 21st, so look forward to seeing you then. So we got some good stuff lined up today. I've got a new project ready to be released at 11 o'clock as usual. It's part one of a little series where we're going to be making an upgradable space shooter game. We've done space shooters before. It's nothing really all that fancy, but what I wanted to do this week, I was really interested in upgrade stores and how to implement them in Scratch. And so this whole thing has been an experiment in creating a store in Scratch where you can buy upgrades and your purchases affect the gameplay. So this week in part one, I'm going to show you how to change the look of your spaceship by buying little add-on items and how to design a spaceship that's expandable. And then when we come back after my vacation here, we'll be implementing it in the game. So when you buy a new laser, it'll actually make your laser beam look different, or it'll give you missiles or whatever other functionality we're going to add to the game. So really excited to bring that to you. We got some other stuff coming up as well. First, let's see who's visiting. We got a busy crew here on Discord today. I'm joined over in Florida by Balin. Good morning, Balin. Haven't heard from you in a long time.
Good morning.
Yeah. So, Balin, you been doing any Scratch lately?
No.
No. Oh, get off the air, Balin. What are you doing here? All right, Gamer Davy's here from Ottawa. Good morning, Davy. And Kian, also from Ottawa, is here. And, Balin's brother, Crazy Kirby Boy, Thane, is here from Florida as well. Good morning, Thane.
Good morning, Mr. T.
What's new in Florida, Thane?
Well, not really much, but I'm going to be starting school soon.
You're starting school soon?
But,
really? I thought you were homeschooled.
Yeah, like, it's gonna sort of be like regular school, except it's only gonna be once a week.
Oh, okay.
On Tuesday, so I'll still be able to make the videos.
Okay, so school once a week is not too bad. Yeah. All right. What were you saying? Something, Balin?
I've actually been doing a little bit of Scratch.
You have been.
I've just been making these. I'm printing out these cards from Scratch.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing that. Like my brother. My brother's printing out blood cards.
Oh,
so I'm gonna be doing something like that.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, if you do anything interesting, share it with me, please. As always, if any of you kids are making something really cool, I'd love to show it on the air. In a little bit, I'm going to be showing you a little project by Deck, the decoder. Deck sent me a message a minute ago saying he was just rebooting his system and he wasn't online. Deck, are you there? No, we'll be talking to Deck a little bit later. I'm also joined by funny animator Jim from New York. How are you, Jim? Are you available now?
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Oh, I've actually got my retainers from my braces in right now, so it's a little bit harder to talk. But
okay,
no, that's not why I was talking earlier. It just sounds a little bit more weird.
All right, if you're talking like this, I'll know why.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Actually, coincidentally, my son Jeffrey just was at the orthodontist this week getting his braces taken out. And so I'm well aware of all the agony you've been going through. We've been doing this for like 3 years now. It's crazy. All right. So Jim last week showed me a really cool project with transparent pen tools. I'm going to be bringing that to you a little bit later. I did not know you could do transparency in a pen tool until Jim showed me a project he was working on, and I started playing around with it. So I have a little report I'm going to be giving you on that later. Let's get on to the main event of the day, though. Let's get right over to the screen here. So this is my project of the week. As I said, the video is going to be released at 11 o'clock. It doesn't have a fancy name. It's not really a full game yet. I'm just calling it Upgrade System, and I'm just demoing it for you today. It doesn't really have any functionality. Nothing moves or happens, but it's all about upgrading this graphic here. Let me just give you a quick tour of how this works. I've upped the size of the spaceship way bigger than it should be, just to make it more obvious what's going on here. But let's run through this here. When I click the green flag, I can hover over this upgrade button, and that pulls up a little store window. I've designed these custom objects here that I've named myself and written kind of cool sci-fi descriptions for them. When you try to buy them, you just get an error message because you don't have enough cash. I've set up a little cheat code here with the space key that'll give me some infinite cash. There we go, I got lots of cash now, so let's go and buy some stuff. So you can see my basic spaceship here. I just drew something very, very generic looking. And now I can start adding pieces to it. So I can add fins to it right here, and that upgrades it to that level. I can go ahead and add lasers, and that puts lasers onto it. I can go ahead and add a missile launcher. And then finally I can add shields here. And you can see that the menu is updating itself. Now that I've added all these different elements, I have different choices here that are more expensive. And so this is the way that these stores normally work. I've got two different levels of everything. So I've got two levels of boosters here. Let me show you what the second one looks like. There we go. And so you can see we've added some graphical touches to it. And then let's go ahead and upgrade the laser. So here's what the laser looks like now. And when I buy the Pluto shock cannon, you can see it gets some fancier graphics onto it. And then my launcher here, when I upgrade it, I get something a little fancier. And I can also upgrade my shields here to get something thicker and cooler looking. So that's basically the way that it works. There's no functionality in it right now, so there's no way to fire these new weapons or the missile launchers or anything like that. I'm just at the moment teaching you guys how to do an upgrade store that changes the graphics here. Let's have a look inside the project and see what I did here. So I've just got the master ship is just this generic object here. And what I did to design the upgrades was I just did a duplicate of it. So let me just duplicate it right now just for the sake of argument. Then I started adding pieces to it. So the example I showed in the video that you're going to see at 11 o'clock is I just drew some quick fins for it. So for example here I can go and grab a gray color and maybe skinny up the graphics here. And then I use the pen tool to deform it a little bit. So I, for example, got rid of the corner here, made it into a triangle. And then I can pull this side in using this deform tool. And now I've got something cool. Now, of course, you want this all to be symmetrical, so we tend to use the copy tool for that kind of thing. I'm going to copy and then paste and then flip horizontally so it's facing in the opposite direction. And then I can line it up using my arrow keys to very carefully space stuff so that it all looks perfect. And then when I'm ready to go, I just delete the original spaceship. Just like that. And then I've just got the upgraded parts. And so what I can do now is I can clone this fin, put it on top of the spaceship. Because if I tell it go to spaceship, it'll land in the exact same spot relative to my ship as it would be. I can show you that right now. So if I copy this and then paste, because it's all oriented around the center of the screen, you'll see it'll always land in exactly the right place when we tell it to clone. So let's so all the clones that I've made are all saved in a sprite here. Let me I haven't shared this with you guys, by the way, so let me do that right now. I'll just save this into the chat if anyone else wants to have a look at it. All right. Dex saying the stream's crashed, but I don't think there's any problems here. I know you guys are it looks like everything's working fine on YouTube here, so I'm not sure what you're up to there, Deck. All right, so let's go back and have a look at these upgrades. So as you can see, all the upgrade. Let me max this size out here. All the upgrades each have their own little sprite here. And I've also just created a generic one at the bottom that just shows what this is going to look like with all the upgrades in it. So this is the level 1 upgrades, and this is the level 2 upgrades, basically. These sprites aren't used in the actual game. They're just here for reference if you want to get a look at what the final ships look like in their 2 different forms. And so we're just creating clones of these guys in order to place them on top of the graphic and then slaving them to the graphic so that they move exactly the way that the graphic moves when we move stuff around. I've also got a graphic here for my upgrade screen. It's just a blank menu item here. You can see I did some fancy text. Ben's going to show you in a little bit how I created this fancy text here. And I've got another block here that has just all the different items that I'm going to be adding to the upgrade menu. So again, we're cloning these objects and placing them on the screen with a little bit of code. I explained it all in the tutorial, and so I've set all this up with all the different elements on here. And I've also just created the last graphic is a little X that we use to close the menu up. So you can see I've got an X in the corner here that I can use to close everything up. Now it's all fully upgraded, but when I click the green flag to start over again, there I've got my menu. There's a little rollover effect to make things get brighter when I hover my mouse over them. If I don't have enough money, I get an error message, as I showed you before. And if I do have enough money, then it'll purchase that thing, make a little coin sound, and then add that to your inventory, basically, by cloning it. The prices of things are just determined using a list variable here. So let me show you. I've got something here for laser prices, for example. So my first level laser is 12,000. The second level is 52,000. And for the third level, I just put a ginormous number, so big that you'd never ever be able to gather that much money in the game. And that's to stop you from buying a level 3 upgrade, because it doesn't actually exist, right? So I'm going into all the details of how to set this file up in my tutorial, which you can look at 11 o'clock. If you're interested in making a game with upgrades like this, I would recommend you have a look at it. I think I did a very thorough job of explaining how it all works. So please go and have a look at that. So one of the things that came up in this project, there was just a simple little Scratch thing that I thought I would talk about a little bit, is cash registers and how to make cash transactions in Scratch so that you can buy something. I just have a little sample file here called greater than or equal to, which I'm going to share right now, and I'll send the link out to everybody if you're interested. That is going to out to both my text chats here. So this is a little file here that just simulates buying stuff using a system kind of like what I'm doing here. So if I like what I'm doing in my upgrade game here. So if I click on the pay button, my current cash is $201, and it costs $200, so I have enough cash. And you can see that I end up buying the thing. It takes my money away, and I still have $1 left. Now, if I change the amount of money, let's say I put $199 in there, and now I try to pay for it, I get an error message, right? So, but the problem is, what if I have exactly enough money to pay for what I'm buying here? Now, my cash is 200, my cost is 200. I try and buy the object, and it still doesn't let me buy it. Let's have a look at the code here and see what's going on here. So we're saying if my cash is greater than the cost, then I can buy the object. But of course, I have exactly enough money to buy the object. What I'm really looking for here, instead of a greater than sign, is a greater than and equal to sign. And we don't have one of those in Scratch, unfortunately. So who on Discord knows what we can do to fix this problem? There's actually 2 different ways to fix this problem. Does anyone have a suggestion? Dex typing?
Well, one way is you could say if my cash is greater than my cost or my cash is equal to my cost. because then it'd be both ways.
Yeah, so if it's equal to. So instead of, yes, because there's no greater than or equal to sign, we can do if it's greater than or it's equal to. And Deck, with the smart, who's being a little smart here, sent me a text saying, well, just add the block beside it. Well, yeah, of course, that's what I'm doing here. All right, so if my cash is greater than the cost or my cash is equal to the cost, then I can buy it. Let's try that out here. And we'll click on our cash, and there we go, and we can in fact buy it, and now we have $0 left. What I did something a little different inside my upgrade game though, and this is a simple little hack that I wanted to show you today. All I did was I added $1 to my current cash so that I always have one. So this doesn't actually show up in my cash. It's just the equation says if my cash plus $1 is greater than the cost, then I can buy the thing. So the nice thing about doing this way is the code's a little bit simpler, and I still have exactly $200. I don't have to give myself more money to make the cost work out, but the equation still works. And if I click on pay, I can buy the object as well. So that's just a quick little hack for when you're trying to compare things with each other and you need a greater than or equal to. This will work if you just add a little increment to it. Do I hear somebody trying to talk?
The thing is, if you have $199.50, then it'll still go over the 200. So maybe it should be my cash plus like 0.0001.
Yeah,
like
something like that is probably more bulletproof. I would just do it to the nearest dollar of what I'm shopping for, right? So if there's nothing here that is counted in pennies, then it wouldn't matter. But you're right, if we have something in pennies, then this is going to break down. And this is actually a more bulletproof version of the code, because you're never going to get money in increments of less than 1 penny. And so this will always work if it's just a little teeny bit higher. And you can put whatever number you want down here, even something ridiculous like 0.00001 will still be greater than the amount of money, and so that will work as a greater than or equal to as well. Let's pay for that. I have a new electric guitar. Look at that. Congratulations. All right. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys was text editors, right? So I've shown you a couple of different programs before that allow you to add fancy custom text to your projects. And you can see in my creator program here, I've got some fairly fancy stuff going on here. Let's start this up again. So I've got this really nice font here that has kind of a background on it. Let me zoom in close to it so you can see. So you're never going to get something like this in Scratch. You've only got, I think, 8 different fonts to choose from, and you're not going to get fancy graphical effects like that. So I've told you guys about a couple of different text engines, programs that you can use to create funky graphics, save them as an image, and bring them into Scratch. So Ben's going to tell us a little bit about some of the other ones that I've shown you in previous weeks. But right now I found another one. I think I might have found it from one of the projects you were working on again, Jim. It's called cooltext.io. Or maketext.io. And it comes up with a program called Cool Text Generator. I sent my compatriot Ben out to have a look at this for you guys right now, and he's written a little report for you. So let's have a look at text engines right now.
Hey guys, it's Ben, back with another quick segment. This time it's on a cool website that me and Mr. T found that'll bring your Scratch game to a whole new level. So let's get started. So the websites that I'll be covering today are called text engines. Now, we've covered things like this before, whether it be a cool website called Font Meme, which you can select from all kinds of different shows, title screens, and logos you might have seen, and recreate logos using that exact same font. Or whether it be this cooltext.com, where you can select your style and pick and choose and do all kinds of fun things there. But today, we're going to use a different website that I think is even cooler. The website is called maketext.io. Now, as soon as you Google that, it's going to bring you right here. From here, you can just input your word. So I'm going to do Mr. Tomek, of course. I don't know what else I would put. Then from here, we're going to make our text even cooler. And from here, we can switch for a bunch of different effects. So there's tons of different effects here. Of course, you can change them up too. I'll show you that in a sec. I'm going to pick my effects. Ooh, this one looks kind of cool. So I'm going to go with this one over here. So from here, we can customize that however we want. We can change the size. We can change the size up here using this little slider. That's being really slow. There we go. We're using a little slider. We can change that around. We can change the direction of the tint. So you see it, all of a sudden it's changing up there, which is kind of cool. I'm going to keep it there. That was nice. We can change the thickness. So these are all different effect settings. We can change all of this stuff around too. And of course, if you picked different effects, you would change different things too. So I can change it to there. We can also change up the colors too. So let's say I don't like this color scheme for some reason, even though I think it's perfect. We can go and we can switch it. Now here, there's literally color schemes from anything you can think of. There's different Disney movies. There's all kinds of color schemes. There's stuff from Lego there. There's Adobe Photoshop, Google, Amazon color schemes. There's all kinds of things. Microsoft, Google Drive. Honestly, anything you can think of. Here, KFC. Who would have guessed? Let's go with KFC, why not? From here, we can change our background color. You can drag this little slider down here. That's gonna make it transparent, which is perfect for Scratch. And we can change up all the different colors manually as well too. So I'm gonna go here, and I'll make it even darker. I can change this one up, and let's go for a nice blue. We got light blue. Perfect. And then we can change it up from here. You guys can customize it however you like. So eventually, once we're happy with our image, we've done all the changes we want to, we can go down, we can click download as, we could save it as an SVG, or for now, I'm just gonna save it as a PNG. So I can save it here, it's gonna show me, and then I'm gonna click the big green download button, download it just like that, and there we go. We have a nice PNG here that we can use in Scratch, or honestly, wherever we want. You may be wondering, how does this actually help us when we're creating Scratch games, for example? Well, it's actually really important, and it makes your games look so much more professional. So take this example over here, which of course is in theme with Scratch Camp, which is going on right now. Currently, we're trying to make different projects that are nature themed. So this is mine, it's nowhere near as good as any of the others, but it gets the point across. You guys should definitely check out Scratch Camp after this. So here, this is just a really generic font. It's just Banana Jungle here, just in a generic Scratch font. It took 2 seconds. It definitely doesn't look the best. But if we go and we use that editor that I just showed you, you can create things that look so much cooler. So I just used the editor, it didn't take long at all, and already it looks a lot more professional. So using fonts like this and customizing however you like can really help your whole Scratch projects, your games, look so much more professional. And it's not just useful for Scratch, you can also use it to create different logos as well. So if any of you guys were there for some of my Ask Away segments, you'll notice that my logo was actually the same kind of theme and had the same feel as Scratch's logo. Now, I did that on purpose, but you can't just find Scratch's logo lying around anywhere. You have to go to one of these cool websites, and I actually went to one of the ones I just showed you in this video, and I created the whole logo in there. So it's really cool, really helpful, and you can use it for all kinds of different things. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have fun creating.
Thanks for that, Ben. I had to laugh at Ben's monkey animation, which was pretty wild. I see that Deck has just made a funky new graphic for us here as well. Let me see if I can flash this on the screen here. There it is. So there's Deck's new graphic, which is pretty cool. So he designed this in the website as well. Let me go back to the website. Maybe I can show you a couple more things from this cool text generator. So let's type in Chromeworks here. I like to do the things in caps usually. Make text cooler. And so it's just a matter of picking one of the prefabricated styles here. I like this this really cool kind of chrome look here that works well with Chromeworks. And again, you can fiddle with the font size, the colors and stuff. And when you're done, just click on make it a PNG. I think SVG will work in Scratch as well. Let me try an SVG here. SVG is a vector file format, which means that you can use it in vector mode and probably even fill in the colors. So let me try this right now. I'm going to just save this to a folder here. We'll call it Chromeworks logo. And I've never tried importing an SVG. I know when you try to export SVGs, or trying to export sprites, they often export as an SVG if you're in the costume and if it's a vector image. So let me try and import that SVG and see what happens here. Oh, I got to get over to my proper screen here. And here's my Chromeworks logo. Let's import it. So for those of you who weren't looking, yeah, I just did an import using upload costume here. And so that brought it in as a vector. The problem is it didn't bring in the visual effects, eh? It looks like that is not the best way to do this then. Let's go back to the Cool Text website and try downloading it as a graphic file instead. Close that. So we'll download it as a PNG. So it looks like the way to go with these is definitely PNG. Chromeworks new. And let's get back to Scratch again, and we'll do a import here. We'll go down to the bottom left of the screen. We'll click on Upload a Costume, and let's find the Chromeworks new. And there we go. Now we've got all the funky graphic effects. So it looks like the SVG format's not the way to go with this. And so you can add whatever kind of backdrop you want to this, and it will theoretically look really cool. Where did I even put my graphic? I've lost it now. Oh, here it is, Chromeworks. Oh, and it's invisible, no wonder. So let me just show it. Nope. Ah! I've got something going on in the code that's hiding all this stuff. It's probably going to the, oh yeah, here's Chromeworks. And there it is, looking very nice. Let me hide this so we can see it against the background. All right, so that is how you can get some cool new effects. There are some other websites that we also mentioned, Font Meme, and one called Cool Text as well. So just look up text engines in Google, and you'll find all kinds of other options as well. They all offer different features, and some of them have some really cool options in them. So if you're looking for custom text effects, and I would really recommend you use these because the number of fonts that you can choose from in Scratch is so limited. We've really got, what do we have here? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 6 fonts plus a couple of Asian fonts as well. So really, for all intents and purposes, you're stuck with 6 different fonts here. They're not very interesting. So definitely, if you're looking to up your graphic game, you should do that. Speaking of upgrades, I wanted to show you some work that Deck had done to remix some of my files here this week. So there's 2 different things that Deck did. Deck, are you online there, buddy? Deck, can you hear me? Okay, so Deck's not available right now, no problems. So Deck did a little, well, he actually did a little tribute to 2 of my projects that I've asked you guys to remix. I've been begging you guys for months to remix one of my projects. And Deck kind of did 2 things at once. So my lesson from about 3 weeks ago on the Infinity Machine, the Rube Goldberg device maker that I've created. I've been asking you guys to make Rube Goldberg devices for me, and Deck, who's a big chess fan, made a chess-themed Infinity Machine for me, which is really cool. But the extra little twist that he added to it is he took last week's lesson on creating cool Scratch intros, and he created his own Scratch intro. So he made this project for me, then added this new custom intro to it. And I think it's one of the most fantastic intros that I've seen in a while. He took an existing template, modified it, added some new graphics, and came up with something totally new that is super impressive. So let me show it to you right now, guys. So when I click the green flag here, we're going to see Deck's intro file followed by his Rube Goldberg device project. So here we go. And there we go. And so that's Deck's project. I think that is a fantastic little intro, frankly. I think it's really, really great. So again, if you want to find out how to make your own cool intros for your Scratch projects, it's not that hard at all. Deck was able to do this in just a couple of hours by fiddling around with it. You can look at my last week's lesson on my live stream. I believe it was July 31st, if you want the lesson on how to do that. I think I'm going to release that as a standalone project as well. Anyway, so congratulations, Deck, on a great project. Another upgrade themed thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was pens. And I was chatting with funny animator Jim last week after the broadcast, and he was showing me a really cool 3D project that he's working on that I'm going to be showing you in a little while when it's ready to go. It's not quite there yet, but it's a multiplayer 3D game. And to keep things simple, because 3D is so complicated for Scratch to manage, he's designing the whole thing using kind of vector graphics that are done inside the game engine with a pen tool. So he's creating vector graphics inside Scratch with a pen tool. But in order to make his character who's in the foreground not block the background, what he's done is he's used transparency in the pen tool. And I went, what? That doesn't really make a lot of sense, because the pen tool doesn't have an option to do transparency. Let me show you guys right now. I'm going to get into a brand new Scratch project here, and we're going to load up the pen tool, which we get to by using the add-ons and then clicking on pen tool. That gives you some new tools here at the bottom, and you can see there's a couple of different commands here that we can use on pens. We can set the color, saturation, brightness, transparency. Hold it. So this wasn't available in Scratch 2.0. Jim, are you on the line?
I just was using the transparency so that I could, get all the specific values for the hue, saturation, brightness, and then turn that into the red, green, and blue, and then just set all of them into one set pen color block. But wow, I didn't notice that transparency block was there.
I always thought, I was even looking on the wiki, and they were saying you can't do transparency. I think back in version 2.0 you couldn't do pen transparency, but that is actually an option now, eh? Wow, and I had this whole tutorial ready to show you guys how to add transparency to your pen tool using a hack, but it looks like that's not really even necessary anymore. I am going to show you the project, though, just because it's worth looking at. So this is the project that Jim showed me. It's by a coder by the name of Cypher56, and I'll just show you what he's doing. So he's doing something really interesting to instead of using the transparency function that's built into Scratch, he's using kind of a hack to create transparency using an alpha channel like this. You can see we can add and subtract transparency from here. So he's not using the transparency slider. He's using some very complicated math in here. Let me show you what he's doing here. So if your pen color actually, if you set your pen color to a ridiculously high number, like 14 million or something like that, you get into these values that are actually transparency, and it works on this very complicated formula here, where you take the amount of transparency that you want from all these values are from 0 to 255, or maybe from 1 to 256, I don't remember, and you multiply it by 256, and then you add the red values. So we're talking about RGB values, which are the colors for red, green, and blue. And so in most graphic programs, but not in Scratch, you can normally determine colors using RGB values, how much red, how much green, how much blue. So in this project, for example, if we go all red, make the red 100%, let's bring the alpha up here, and we bring the other colors down to 0, we get total red. Or if we get 100% green, we get green, and then we can mix colors, of course, so green and blue makes kind of a turquoise color, red and green makes a yellow color, for example. And then we could the last feature in this is transparency, or which we call alpha channel in graphic design lingo, and that determines the amount of transparency here. And so the formula is alpha times 256 plus the red value, and you multiply that whole thing by 256, and then add the green value, and then multiply all of that by 256, and then add the blue value. So really not a very intuitive calculation, but when you pull all that out and have a look at it, you get to a gigantic number. Let me show you that again. So the output of this equation is actually, how big a number is that? That is 3,121,408, basically. So that is the color value that gives you this color with this amount of transparency in it, basically. And as we move these sliders around, you'll see that it creates different numbers here that are all up into the 1 billion range, basically. The other weird thing is we're not setting a color value. We're actually putting that into this block here that says set color 2 and then letting us pick something with the color picker, which is strange. If you put this block of code into a normal set color block, like set pen color to of number value, if you put all this into there, it will not work, strangely enough. It just yields black. All the values are just black here if you try to get into a million here. But if you put it into this block, it'll suddenly work. So this is one of these math things in Scratch that I don't really understand quite why this works the way that it does. But you can use this, though. So if you're interested in using RGB color values inside Scratch, and this is, I believe, what Jim was looking for as well. So we can take this code and steal it and create a custom block. And that's what I've gone ahead and done here. So I've gone define, created a custom block here that says set pen color to RGB and then an alpha as well. And so we can go ahead and use that in other projects. I've just backpacked that project right now, and I've brought it over to a different project here called PenColorTest. And so we're using this block here. I've just taken all of the custom code. I'm going to share this with you guys if you're interested in having a look at this. So this is an implementation of this, of the other project that I just showed you, done by another Scratcher. Let me save that into the YouTube chat as well. Just a moment here. All right, there we go. So this project, what we're really just doing is we're using this set pen color tool project here. I'm just on the left side here, I'm just drawing with the red just to show you without transparency what we're getting here. So I'm setting the pen color to red, then we're just basically drawing across the screen and then moving down, drawing a bunch of rows here. They're all going to be the same if we're on the left side here. You can see we're just going to draw this red across the screen. But when it gets done, we're going to go across and do another loop, this time starting right here across the right. And this time we're going to start varying the pen colors or the opacity in the pen color using this custom block here and using a variable called opacity. So we're going to start opacity at 255, which is the maximum, and then go down to 0 here. So let me show you what this looks like when we actually get it running. Very cool. So it takes a second to run through the default, and then you can see what it looks like once you add some opacity to your pen tool. So here we go. You can see that it's getting more and more transparent as we go along the line here, until it finally just vanishes at the bottom here. There we go. So if you're looking for to do really smooth gradient effects with lines and stuff like that, this is really, really handy. So as we've just learned today, you can definitely do transparency without using a fancy tool like this and without making it as complicated as I've made it here. But if you want to use RGB color values inside of Scratch, you should definitely borrow this little bit of code here. So once again, I don't want to create the impression that I made this project on my own. This is by Cypher56, and I just wanted to give him cred for making a very complex but very cool little project here. So, but the custom block, which I've designed myself, is available here in this shared project called PenColorTest. And you can backpack this and pull it out anywhere that you want to. Just if you're ever backpacking a custom block, by the way, remember that you need to pull out, sort of pull into your backpack the definition block, not this custom block that you deploy inside your code. If you backpack this, it will not work properly. So you're going to have to backpack this part of the project here. I've got it loaded up here 3 times because I didn't see it. And so yeah, I've just basically taken Cypher, or whatever his name is, Cypher's project, and I've substituted where he's put variables in there. I just I dragged the variables in from here and added them in the same spots where they were in his code. And I've come up with a custom block here that I think will be quite useful if you want to use RGB colors in your own project. So if I was in Photoshop or something and picked the perfect color, there's some colors that are really hard to figure out just through guesswork, like gold, for example. If you want a really snappy gold, it's hard to figure that out in RGB just by moving sliders around. So what I would probably do is like Google RGB values for gold.
Wait, so that's what the other project was for that I linked last week, that allowed you to convert between the hue value and the RGB value.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Remember that project?
So if you're mixing a color in Scratch and you want to figure out what the RGB is, or if you're doing it back and forth, but this I don't know whether you really need to do the calculation if you're using this custom block here, because you can just find the proper color. So this is 100% red, 84 green, and 0 blue. So let me try that value here. So 100% red, 84 green. Oh, but we can't do percentages in here because this is values from 1 to 255. We have to fiddle around with this equation a little bit to get it to work with percentages, rather than values. So I'm still not there yet with this project, I guess.
Would it be 255 times 0.84? 0.84?
Yeah, that would definitely work. So let's plunk that in there. So actually, it would be the G value that would be 255 times 0.84. Oh no, 250 for I did that wrong. 255 times 0.084, right?
0.84, I think. So it'll get the 84%.
Oh, 84.3% or something, right? It was 84 point. Yeah, was it 84 point? I don't think it really matters that much, but 84.3, yeah, was the number. So 0.843 is the number we're looking for here. We'll set our pen color to that, and let me just sub that in here. I'm going to get rid of the first part of the project here that just draws the plain color here, and we'll get the pen color set up right here and try running it. So let's see if we can get some nice gold going here. Oh, that is not gold. That did not work. All right. This is the problem with live television. Things don't always work the way that you want them to. Jim, do you have any advice here?
Wait, why is it not even printing the left side?
Oh, I just deleted the stuff on the left side here. Set.
Right, so wait, can you pull out the green block and... Oh, it's because maybe it's because the opacity was not being set beforehand.
Yeah, hold it.
Like you have to set the...
I don't think so. I think the opacity was working fine here.
And then can you click that 255 times 0.843 to see what number you get?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Because we're changing the opacity here, we have to keep changing the color inside the program as well, eh? So what is the output of this? It doesn't tell.
No, the output of the times block, the 255.
Oh, okay. Which is 214.
Maybe it's too many decimals, so you should round it. Maybe.
Okay, so let's just go 214 in here, eh? And try that out. So I'm going to put that inside of the repeat loop here so that it does change, and that was another thing that I forgot to add here. Oh, and now
there
we've got a nice gold color here, absolutely. Nice. Okay, so that explains it. So, yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit more tweaking to this algorithm here to get it working on from 0 to 100. I hadn't realized that we definitely want this output to always be in a percentage rather than a value from 0 to 255.
I think if you Google RGB Color Picker, then there's a color picker, and it gives you the values in from 1 to 255 instead of percentages.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you just Google RGB Color Picker, then yeah, it's there if you want to search that.
Yeah, RGB Color Picker. RGB Color Picker. And that'll give you the values. Okay. And it'll give you, yeah, it is from 0 to 255. So here, so if we wanted to mix a really nice shade of blue here, for example, this one here. So it's 66, 95, 237. So let's try that. So that definitely, yeah, would work with this. So 66, let me look at that again, my memory. 66, 95, 237. So this still is a useful tool for sure if you just use an online RGB color picker to do it. Good advice, Jim. There we go, and then we've got that nice blue color, and then we've got the transparency being added to it that way. Excellent. All right, so yeah, thank you for helping me salvage that, Jim. I think that actually is quite useful. So just Google RGB color picker, and you'll get to a screen like this, and you can use that to pick whatever really cool custom color that you want with a lot more finesse than you can inside Scratch's color picker. And then the other cool thing that you can do is if you're looking to match a color with something, you can also use like a magic wand or a eyedropper tool on a color here, get the value, and then import it into your Scratch project as well. All right, guys, I've pretty much run out of content here with our time, 10:47. I think we're probably ready to wrap it up for the day. So I have had a lot of fun teaching you this. Many thanks to everyone who contributed to this week's broadcast. Ben, of course, and also Funny Animator Jim. Thank you for showing me that pen tool and taking me down a little bit of a rabbit hole with that stuff. And thanks as well to Deck for creating that fabulous remix for me. So if you have anything you want to share or any ideas for stuff you'd like to see on the broadcast, please email me at info@chromeworks.ca. Meanwhile, I will see you guys in 2 weeks on, I believe, August 15th. And I'll be back with the second part of our upgrade game, the space upgrade game, and who knows what else we're going to come up with. Thane says he's going to be back with another Minecraft mod review for you, and who knows what other fun we're going to come up with. So please send along your ideas, and we're always looking for new stuff for the stream. I'll catch you guys